Welcome to the Footy Show here on Patreon. Summertime, World Cup looming, but still the football story.
It's all good, isn't it?
It is. This
is almost like the best time ever in the world, isn't it?
It is the best time.
Bit of sunshine, Everton, it's all good.
That's it. There's no results to determine your mood. It's just...
There's footy on literally every single day. There's friendlies on at the moment, and then in a week's time or so it's the World Cup starting. Beautiful.
The 16th of June, isn't that the 4-game day? I think that's the 4.
Week Saturday.
Yeah,
week Saturday.
I think that's the 4.
The first one starts at 11:30.
Yeah.
On all day.
It's amazing.
Literally, you'll get up and you'll be in your bills. And when that last game finishes, you'll still be in your bills. Your teeth will be like...
No, they won't.
Itchy isn't anything. Because you'll just get up, run downstairs, stick the telly on. People will be blind drunk by 1:30. Not me. I'll just be drinking cups of coffee and tea.
Yeah. In your bills.
Oh, in my bills. Oh no, I mean, goes out saying. It goes. I mean, listen. It's different for you. You've got kids in the house and stuff.
Yeah.
Me, I'll just be sitting there, just watching the footy.
Just
in
ready.
My bills. Happy days.
Yeah. What more can you want? What more can you want? 4 games of football. Incredible. We'll talk about the World Cup in a bit. Let's start with Aston Villa. Big club. Very, very big football club. Relegated a few seasons ago. Got taken over by Tony Chai.
Big Tony.
Big toe.
Literally big toe.
Came bouncing in a blaze of glory.
As they always do.
As they do. Predicted Champions League within 3 seasons and everything else, and enjoy this ride. And here we are 2 years later. Ex-Everton chief executive, or whatever he was, he was chief exec, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was basically.
Yeah. Keith Wines has just been suspended for a missed tax payment. And I was reading a journalist today from Birmingham saying that they're in a mess basically. They need 75 million just to get them through this season,
wages and everything.
The upcoming season, as well as everything else on top of it. And he was saying he doesn't think there's going to be any injection from the owner.
So it's going to be sales.
It's going to be sales, and then even then, he said they still could end up in administration, which would be disastrous for
relegation, couldn't
it?
It? If they sell all the best players and then they lose 10 points. Do you think though, I mean, this is slightly off topic, do you think the FA is slightly culpable in this? Because, and this will sound like a strange thing, but teams like Aston Villa, when they used to have like semi-finals and stuff, and also like the England internationals now and again, that kind of money would really help them, wouldn't it? And because it's been taken away from them, I'm not saying that's the cause for it, but we don't help some clubs, do we? You know what I mean? It's all going in their pockets and not going in the club's pocket. That was just a general thought that just popped into my head. But
what's mad about that is England are playing at Ellen Road the next game, aren't they?
Yeah, which is dead weird. Why would you pick Ellen Road? It's not even a nice ground anymore. No, it's a bit of a dump. And I think it's because they haven't played in Yorkshire for a while. There's a reason why you don't play in Yorkshire. Sorry to buy Yorkshire views, but I don't think there's any grounds in Yorkshire that are up to speed. I really don't. So why would you play there? Go to somewhere like Villa Park, which is still a very nice ground. And I think you know what they did. Funny enough, we've just been watching on Sky Sports News there a little bit. I think the problem was when they came in and acted like they were a Premier League club. When they should have been acting like, let's get ourselves sorted, and they didn't. I think they should have built from the ground up, and they didn't. They tried to be all flashy and threw money at it straight away, and they shouldn't have done that. They should have been a little bit more reserved and a bit more in tune with what was going on, and just built from the ground up instead of they were like, oh, let's put Roberto Di Matteo in and all these kind of bells and whistles, and it's like, nah, that doesn't work. What works is a plan that will get you out of the situation you're in. Don't be planning for something that you're not in. And I think last season they did that. Well, last couple of seasons with Steve Bruce, they've done that. And I suppose if they'd beaten Fulham, none of this would matter. But because they got beat by Fulham, now it's like it was bang or bust or whatever. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing, though, wasn't it? That's always the danger. You're relying on playoff final wins, because we've seen. So I mean, Fulham, as it were, deserve to come up anyway, because they've been fantastic. I thought they'd come up automatically, and they just fell short of that. But so many times in the playoffs, we've seen teams that have finished 6th coming up. You know,
there was more to form this year, wasn't it? 3rd and 4th teams.
Yeah, so that was a bit thingy. I think the thing with Villa for me is, I mean, I can trace this right back to Martin O'Neill walking out 5 days before the season. Well,
I can trace it back to how much bleeding money he spent on shite.
Well, he did, but at that time he had them quite stable. Don't forget, they were 5th and 6th in the Premier League. They were up with Everton. It was us two, wasn't it? They had Lerner had come in, and remember everyone praising Randy Lerner. Remember myself saying, "Oh, he's the kind of owner you want. He's there. He seems to just give the money and not interfere." But because they never,
the money.
Well, he did stop because they didn't make the jump, did they? What happened was, O'Neill wanted the back. I'm trying to just think this just off the top of my head, but I know that he wanted a couple of players and he didn't get them. And the season was starting and he fell out with Lane and he ended up walking out.
Well, Lerner said, didn't he? Lerner said, I'm putting this amount of money in, and if we want to go from 5th to 4th, it was going to take like 100 million. And he was like, well, I haven't got 100 million. He said, but the money you make from 5th to 10th is nothing compared to the money I'd have to put in. So he just pulled the money out. He basically said, the money, you've had the money, there's no point me, I trust you to do the job. That's why he wanted Moyes, wasn't he? He wanted Moyes. Remember, he was banging about Moyes all the time, because he was like, Moyes is doing it on no money whatsoever. This is when Moyes was with us, obviously. Moyes is getting them 5th, 6th, 7th every season on no money, and I'm throwing money at you to get us in the same position. He was like, what's the point? So you can understand why a club like, why he would decide to make that decision.
He went and he got Houllier, and then that didn't work, and then it just became, you know, it snowballed, didn't it? He tried Tim Sherwood, he didn't work. They ended up with Remy Gard, he didn't work, you know, and it was just one bad appointment after another, plus
just like
money. Culminating obviously in the relegation, and then obviously another new owner coming in who's put a bit of money in at the start and is now going, getting no return here and no guarantee we're going to go up again. So it's sad, isn't it? And I suppose it's just to go back to your point where I think the FA are culpable. I think they're culpable in who they allow to buy these football clubs. I really do, because I think there's no way a club like Aston Villa should go into administration. They've won the European Cup. They're a massive club, really. They're not a massive team at the moment because they're not, but they're a massive club.
I think I don't know how you can stop it though, unless they've got like criminal records like the fella who had at Leeds. Then I don't know what you can do. You can't really prove whether someone's got money or not. If they've got people saying they have got money, what can you do? I think it's actually a very cautionary tale, because what it basically says to a lot of football clubs is, don't have any ambition, just be happy with what you've got and keep plodding along. And I suppose actually it's what people from the outside keep telling us. It's like the Sam Allardyce thing. It's like, don't try and reach, because if you miss, you'll miss by a lot and you'll fall. And I suppose there is a cautionary tale in there, but the cautionary tale is get stability, get your club, get your house in order, and get stability and build from solid foundations, and don't mess about. And I suppose that's it. You can have ambitions, but just make sure you get your house in order first. I suppose that's what we're doing this summer, is trying to get our house in order. Because what happened with Villa simply was managers kept on changing, so players were changing all the time. I mean, this sounds like a similar stuff, you know, which is slightly worrying again, as I say. And then buying less and less and less quality, and then you get relegated, and then you change your managers again, and then suddenly you find there's no money, and the parachute payments will run out. So there's less money, and now you've still got people on big contracts that you signed when you were in the. Or you've signed players on big contracts to get you into the Premier League, and it's very worrying actually. You can understand how you fall into that, because you're always chasing. Your fans have got expectations. You've got to try and keep them happy to get them through the gate, because obviously you need a certain level. Because it's mad how many of these teams go down, and suddenly their crowds go from being like 35, 36 to going to like 21, 22, 23, and it's like, and it shows you that there are football fans who are like, no, well, if you're not giving me Premier League football, then I'm not coming. I'm not bringing the 3 kids I used to bring, because they're not interested, because they're not seeing all the big names. They were willing to come, and we were willing to spend money when it was so. It's a cautionary tale.
Scary, isn't it, if you get it wrong? Really?
Yeah. It is.
I think for me, just very quickly before we move on, I think it shows the importance of getting your coaching staff right. At an academy level, and trying to build a team through your academy. It's difficult, obviously, because the bigger clubs want the best players, and they have scouts everywhere now. Years ago, you were just your area, so but now you're competing countrywide with the top clubs. But players can come through. There's no question about it. Put the money into the coaching. The problem
is, though, those kids now can come through at 16 and be taken off you for nothing. Bare minimum. Bare minimum, and that's the worry. And also, if you've only got one decent player, you're keeping other players happy who aren't good enough, and you're putting money into it, and all they're there for is to create a team for that one good player. So
but you've got to try and build that, haven't you?
Of course.
There's always going to be football. There's always going to be lads who can
play. What you've got to do is you've got to say to players, well, if you play for us, you'll be in the first team by 17.
You've got a path into the first team.
You'll be first team 17, 18 if you're good enough. And then when you get to 21, then you can get your big move, and that's good for us, because we can sell you at a
premium. Well, that's what
more clubs have got to be more realistic about.
That's what the Dutch do, don't they? Even the Dutch top clubs, like Ajax, PSV, they realise that if they get a player who's like top level, he's going to go.
Do you know what? Right, just very quickly, no Brands, right? This week when he said about Rooney being a club legend, and a lot of people have like jumped on that, or he's not. That's what I think he was talking about. Memphis Depay is a club legend at PSV because Dutch football, if you've created a footballer and they go on to the massive things, they're a legend at your club, because you've made them. You created them. You that's how they see football. So they will all, like someone like Ronaldo and Romario, they will always be synonymous with PSV, because PSV give them their start. Therefore, they're big.
They're like revered,
so because you can go, your PSV, you can go, we created him. We created him. Ajax will look at someone like Zlatan and go, we created him. On all the other players they've created. So that's why I think that he said that, because in his eyes he is an Everton legend, because he's always attached to Everton. He come through Everton, and I think that's that's the way more clubs should look at it. But the players also should look at it though, and not go, well, you know what, you give me my start, but now I'm a so and so. They should always be that, but actually no, they give me my start, and I will always have something to do with them, and I'll never forget that, and I'll go, you know what, Lukaku gets criticised, but he's gone back to Anderlecht loads of times and being like, this is my club, these give me my start, these give me my platform, and one day I'll probably come back and blah blah blah. So you look at Kuyt's just finished his career at Feyenoord, hasn't he? Bergkamp,
Van Persie, gone back to
that's
Holland,
who I meant, actually, not Bergkamp. Van Persie, he's gone back and he's going to play another season at Feyenoord, and it's that like full circle thing, And we've had it with Rooney, haven't we? He wanted
whatever you say about Wayne Rooney, he wanted to score in the derby. He wanted to score a hat-trick for Everton. He said the things he hadn't done. He'd come back, he scored in the derby, he scored a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean? And he's a legend of the game. He's a legend of English football. He's England's record goal scorer for a start. He's won everything at Man United. Isn't he Man United's record goal scorer as well?
And England's.
England, so... And we made him, he's never thrown
But that's what I'm saying, but don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here going, we should be dead proud of that.
No,
but what I'm saying is that other clubs in certain situations, you have to appreciate the situation you're in. And when Rooney left us, we were in shit street. So therefore both parties benefited from it. And that's what other clubs have to start realising, is that there shouldn't be someone like Jack Grealish, let's say, who's their best player. And funny enough, when we were talking to Andy Gray yesterday, and actually he said, "Oh, he's a good player." Like, and they've got to be realistic about players like that and go, "Well, at 21, we will sell you. We'll sell you, and we'll get the premium bigger for money, you." And they've got to be realistic
because they can reinvest that, can't they? Like Norwich, they probably gonna lose James Maddison. Well, they are. Yeah.
He's the biggest asset, and they need to. They're losing
and they'll get what 25 million.
But they're losing their parachute payment. But what there's got to be more of. And this goes back to what we've just been saying there. If you can create a system that brings in a player like that every 2-3 years, and you sell him, and you don't go overboard over. This is where the whole of the Championship and League One's got to get its head out of its arse. They're all looking for 15 to 20 million for every player that a Premier League team looks at, and then the Premier League teams go, "We'll just go to Slovakia, lad. They've got loads of players. They've got loads of players, and when we're over there, we can get a beer for 60 pence." So, English football's got to say, well, let's be realistic. If we can start creating 2 or 3 players every season, every couple of seasons, that'll be sold, and then the next lot come in, like the Dutch model. Then they can do. I think the problem with the Dutch thing is that that's actually. I think it started to dry up maybe because players haven't give the clubs a few years maybe, and the whole thing of like getting pinched at 16 is actually fucked both systems up. The players never play, so therefore they don't develop, and then they don't get their money, or they go too early even after games. It's arguable to say that maybe Depay should have stayed in Holland a year longer, or should have gone to an intermittent club before he went to Man United. Maybe the jump was just too big. Maybe he should have gone to an Everton first and then gone to a Man United, or you know what I mean? Because he's gone to Lyon and he's been brilliant. Yeah, or Lyon first. Yeah, the French league, and then that's I think that would solve a lot of problems for these clubs. But then Villa are probably thinking, well, we're not a Championship club, but we're going back straight up. It doesn't work out like that all the time. No. Newcastle done it because they kept everyone. Basically, they kept their team, and they had a couple of players who were Championship players anyway. But interesting. Moving on, Ramos gate continues. Only for some. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I wasn't here last week to discuss the outcry from the Champions League final. But are you surprised it's continued to rumble on? No. Really? You're not surprised? No. Because it's them. It's mad though, isn't it? It's them, isn't it? It's mad. Well, it's continued because of what's come out in the last couple of days about the goalie. Are you suspicious with that? Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, it might as well be called the John Henry Hospital. Yeah. Might it? You know what I mean? I mean, it's. We've had the petition. We've had judo rolls to injure Salah. We've now had. Carriers was concussed. They want the game replayed, and and you just think sometimes you've got to just accept that you were beaten by a better team. And the story, all right, your goalie's made mistakes, but Tim Howard dropped the ball in his net, and was he concussed in the cup final in 2009? So you've got to just accept it. I mean, I seen a tweet this morning. It was quite funny from a Liverpool fan saying if Van Dijk would have put Ronaldo in hospital, concussed Navas,
you know, and we'd have won 3-1, we'd be building a gold-plated statue to him outside Anfield, and we'd all be loving it. So we've got to just get on. That was a red saying it, you know, and I seen a few going spot on. It's football, isn't it? But I thought it was funny yesterday because Ramos obviously met the press with Spain and said, you know, the only thing he's waiting to be accused of now is Firmino's got a cold off a bead of his sweat. So, you know, you know, they're just laughing at them, aren't they?
But that's because he's a big player.
Yeah.
And that's because he's played in big games. He played in all the big games, by the way.
Yeah.
All the big games.
Everything, yeah.
So, he's been there and he knows what it takes to be a winner. And why reopen the wound with the Karius thing? Because that's all it's done. All it is just been... all it is Liverpool's PR saying we need to find more excuses for why we got beaten this game.
Yeah.
We can't be seen. So, and to be fair, right? If that had happened, I'd be thinking we've always got an excuse. So we can put an asterisk next to that cup forever and a day. Whereas if they just, it's a pity they just weren't beaten. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, I mean,
we had a great day and we were robbed.
Courtois spoke yesterday and was like, wouldn't have made any difference to the goal. You know, what if he'd been concussed, them goals would have gone in anyway.
See, got on the concussion thing though, right? I do think that's a serious thing, right?
Massively serious.
I do think that football takes the piss when it comes to head injuries, right? I really think it needs to get its house in order, right? Because, okay, I know it's not something that happens every single game, but in other sports, I think someone died this week, an old San Francisco 49ers player, and he died because of, I mean, he was like in his 60s, but it was because of the head injuries. It is a problem, and it doesn't get addressed in football. We just wrap, you know, you always see the Terry Butcher headband with the blood covered in his, and I know that's different because it was a cut, but we know there's been deaths in football because of injuries with the ball, not even concussion, head injuries. Jeff Astle with the head injuries, and I know there was a programme on BBC not so long ago, but it was the Gordon Taylor. He was just like, yeah, we'll look into it. It wasn't like, this is a fucking serious thing that needs to be looked at properly, because if far too many times you see a player come onto the pitch after having a head injury and just be like, for 5 minutes, be like, doesn't even know where he is. But it's that thing of the player going, no, I'm going back on.
That's the problem.
It happened last season at Goodison.
Really? Happened with Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, but but it happened against Watford, didn't it? When we beat them with the goalie. He was like, no, I'm coming back on. It was like, you need to take that decision out the hands. You need to be an independent doctor, provided, like in boxing, where there's an independent he works for the boxing organisation, and he goes in and goes, you're not fit to carry on. There needs to be a doctor at every game who was there on behalf of the Premier League, who looks at that injury and goes, you're not fit to go on, because otherwise it's in the hands of the coaches and the player. And I know there might be people out there who go, oh, this is ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous, because head injury is a serious thing, and if you've got a player out there who's playing and doesn't realise that he's got, you know, a problem, it's that thing as well of like a bit of brain fog and thinking, oh, I'll be alright. But what happens if in that 5 minutes where he goes in for a tackle and, alright, listen, he might not even hurt himself, he might hurt someone else, because he goes in and he misjudges. And I'm not saying this is something that happens all the time, it's not, but who's to say that in like 30 years time modern players don't just start dropping dead? Because I know there's a thing where it's saying, well, we don't use the heavy ball anymore, but now we use light balls that are travelling faster.
Yeah.
Right? So you can say, well, we don't use the big leather cases anymore that'll hurt you. But surely if you're using a lighter ball that travels faster and you keep on getting in the head by it, then that's just as bad, isn't it? It's going to rattle your brain.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to start considering all these things. I know we don't consider them because we don't see them as massive problems, but then things like the Karius thing get laughed off because everyone's like, oh, shut up. You think, well, hang on, what if it was what if on that night he did have problems. Surely that should have been addressed.
But then the medical staff should have.
But the medical staff have got, at the moment, don't have any responsibility on them to do that. We don't have anyone who sits there.
Yeah, but that's the part of the club, aren't they? The part of the coaching staff, so they've got to make.
But why would you make that decision though? If your manager is looking at it, what I'm saying is,
but he should have.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you had someone there on the biggest game in the world, club game, right, from UEFA, he's a UEFA doctor, and he looks at that and goes, he's just been hit in the head. I need to go down and see him. You know what I'm saying? Just he, not like, oh, are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Play on. Someone independent. If you get a head injury on the pitch, someone independent should be able to go down and address that situation. And if needs be, right, you should be able to bring a sub on, a temporary sub, especially if it's a goalie.
While he gets assessed.
And I know some people will say, well, that's ridiculous or blah blah blah, but think of it logically. If you've got someone who's got a hit,
but how long does it take to assess them?
However long it takes. Gomez came on back again. Gomez come on against back on and played for 5-6 minutes against us. And then went off. Who's to say in those minutes they weren't crucial for something to happen? I just think that it needs to be looked at properly and not just put to the side.
Yeah.
I think it.
Well, it does, doesn't it? There's no question about it, because it's very, very serious. But I just think the way it's been done, you know. But I understand a PR perspective, maybe.
Oh yeah.
And a thing for protecting carriers as well, to say like.
It's an asset, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And that's it. So if they want to sell them or whatever.
Not even sell them. They want to protect them against their own fans. His reputation. Again, it's another asterisk next to his name.
Yeah. Moving on. Raheem Sterling. The tattoo. Are you surprised that's continuing to roll? Because obviously, you know, when it came out, whoever we won't mention who reported, but it come out, and at first you look and go, it's a bit of a mad tattoo to have, but it is what it is. It was reported, but he explained it away. So for me, then just went, all right, well, it's his personal choice. I've moved on. But then other people, they've got
a vendetta against them, haven't they?
Well, it seems that way, because it's just
that newspaper's got a vendetta against them.
One story after the.
Obviously, he got booked for diving on
didn't help
on Saturday.
But he'd already ran that. He turned up late. He done this.
I liked after the game actually that Southgate come out and he spoke about the lateness and he said, "Well, I was going to drop him, but then as soon as they done that story, I was like, no, you're playing." I thought that was brilliant. I know what, I'm really impressed by Gareth Southgate. I'm really impressed by him, and actually, I'm more inclined to want England to do well because of the way this modern England is the only thing I'm annoyed about. No, I'm not annoyed about it, but the only thing that I think I would have loved the press conference on Saturday for one of the senior players like Kale to just out the journalists from the newspaper. I would have loved them to just stood up and gone, who's from the Sun, and gone, right, I'm not answering any of your questions because your newspaper's caused all this. That's the only thing I think they should be doing. I also think Southgate should have banned the Sun from coming.
Yeah, he should have.
I think he should have done that as well. I think he should have said to them, "You're not welcome. You're not welcome here because of that." It's been that story about 2 people have been stabbed in London on the day Sterling's got a tattoo, and it's just like, what the fuck has that got to do with the other? But I did think that what was great though is England held their open day yesterday, and basically it was at St George's Park, which is a magnificent place that I've been to 2 years ago now, funny enough. Basically they had like stations behind them, they had, you know, they're advertising shizzle, and the press press were invited, and basically it was a free for all. So it was based on the Super Bowl, that Southgate went to the Super Bowl and looked at the press and how much access they have, and they have loads of access. So it was based off that, and seeing the relationship that helped with, that formed, and how open the players felt. And don't get me wrong, this is not the players' fault. This is the clubs that have caused this, right? Yeah. Which I'll mention in a minute. But so Sterling, first fella comes up to him, tells about the tattoo, tells him I've had the tattoo for ages, couldn't get it finished because I was playing for City, and probably there was, you know, dangers of things. You've got to consider things like ink poisoning and all that kind of thing, and also from having a tattoo on your leg, it fucking hurts. It burns like fuck, like, and it scabs over, and you can imagine having like a scabby leg with footy socks and all that. So he explained it, and it's done. He explained it because he was allowed to explain it, because he didn't have some press officer going, "Oh, you can't say that," or "You can't ask him that." And I think that was really, really good what Southgate done. He broke down the barriers, right? And for me, what that does is, I want this to happen now at every I want Everton to do this. So when Everton come back, when Everton start the season, that first week before the season, I think Everton and every other club should have an open day where you're invited down to the, and that includes us, by the way. I think we should be there, genuinely.
100%.
And they should go to that big indoor pitch, and they should have a player on every station, and obviously they'll have a member of staff with them who's just there, and you should be able to go up, and obviously you'll be briefed beforehand. So, you know, but the briefing should just be like, you know, don't ask this player about something like, I don't know, whatever. Just, but not. But what I'm saying is not like just nothing like mental. Just, and then you should be allowed to just walk around and ask a question. You know, anything you want, and be light, because I think what that does, right, is it humanises players, right? It humanises them straight away. So you get to know that player straight away. Because I think what we've got at the moment, and I think this is where Southgate's been really clever, is if you've got a player that you don't know, and you only see them as this caricature or this cartoon character or this superstar on TV, you'll have no empathy for them, right? So when they're playing football and they do something wrong, or they do something wrong in life, or they're perceived to have done something wrong in life, it's just, who do they think they are, these £1 million footballers? Whereas if you get to know something about them, you have empathy. I remember watching a documentary on the BBC about Anthony Joshua, and you got to know him, his personality, and then suddenly you started rooting for him a little bit more, because you were like, he's a nice fella, this lad. And it's funny because I watch a lot of sporting documentaries, and when you get to know someone, you can start going, oh, he's sounding. I want him to do really well. I want that team to do really well. And I think that's what Southgate's done. He's softened it, and I think that's what we should do as a club.
I think it's massively important now, the disconnect. Obviously, talking about this actually with my missus yesterday, because we were talking about, obviously we spent some time with Andy Gray and Peter Reid and Sharp on that this week, and talking about when Beggsy's been in, and the money, what he was on when he won the FA Cup, and his mates were on £100 a week more than a plastering, and he was like, well, Sam, because I'm playing footy for 2 hours a day and all that. Now that conversation's never going to be had ever again, because
unless their mates are like bankers,
or politicians, but they're on so much money, so there is a disconnect there immediately, and you come out with the kind of things like, well, they're on the money, so they need to take it. That's the way it is. Get over it. And I think I watched the Benzema. I don't know whether you've watched it yet.
I haven't watched that one yet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
right. So on the outside, you just go, "Oh, geez, fuck that fella. Done that with Villa Buena and fucked them up and blah." When you watch it, he's been persecuted for. Now, obviously, it's loaded in his favour because it's his documentary, but he's just put a lot of but they ask a lot of other people, journalists and everything, so you do get a good balance. But you come out of that and think, you know what, he's been shit on really, and he didn't even get in the squad this time. He scores goals all the time, you know. He scored in the Champions League.
So Dan will have him back when he takes over.
Oh yeah, once this is done he'll be back in. Yeah,
that's if he does take over.
Well, yeah, I think he will.
Qatar though, someone Qatar, aren't they?
Yeah, but you just get the shot.
No, someone.
No, I know.
Qatar give him the job.
Key. I know, but I don't know. But even him, so he was vilified, wasn't he? And he's guilty and blah blah. But when you see behind the curtain and you goes back to France quite a lot, to where he grew up, the villa, and people love him and this, that, and the other. And you know, you look behind, you get to see behind the curtain, and I think that's the problem now. Football, we know with doing this, you can't get anything.
Can't get near them.
Because it's not the players.
No, it's not.
You've bumped into Tom. We talked about. We spoke to him off cam there. You know, see other players, and I know when I worked at Everton, spent time with Wayne Rooney, with nothing to do with just chatting. Other footballers, the sound, and they'd have a lot. And if you went, yesterday, right? If we'd have gone, say Andy Gray and Reid would have been part of a football club, and we went, can we interview these for Thingy? The club would have gone, oh no, well, you've got to have someone with you. We just, you know, when we interviewed them, they were sound, really. Sat down.
Graham Sharp was so more relaxed.
He was, yeah.
In being in that environment, where he wasn't.
He was great,
representing the club.
Yeah.
Than I've ever seen him
because
before.
They've got to with the club. I understand it to a certain extent, but footballers, you need that access to them, like you just said, to deliver it back. We've seen the lads from the Redmen have done some stuff, the Dizzy Pens with Coutinho, and you watch it. No, I'm a Liverpool fan, you know what I mean? And to be fair, I didn't come out of it and go, I hope Liverpool do well, because I don't want them to win a fucking raffle. But you watched it because it was a laugh. I've watched even though the two lads get on my nerves sometimes, that F2 thing, because Zach watches it, you know, and they have they have like Courtois on, David Villa.
I've watched the Know the Drill, the soccer one. I watched the little videos of that.
Bullard, isn't it?
Bullard, he's
Jimmy's sound.
He's a sociable, you know, person, and he's just dead laid back and talk to them. I remember when I went and spoke to John Joe Kenny, and you know, Sarah was there. Sarah was doing for the Blue Room, and she'd never interviewed someone before, and I understand the position she was in because I've done it myself. But she was a bit, and I was like, he's a lad from Kirkdale. He's just a lad from Kirkdale. And when I say just a lad from Kirkdale, I wasn't not being disrespectful. I said, he's just a lad from Kirkdale. Just talk to him normally. Don't worry. You know, don't worry about him being a professional footballer. Talk to him normally, because that's the way we should be talking to them.
I met Kaka.
Yeah,
right.
You did. You've told me that a few times.
Yeah, but it's Kaka, mate.
It is, mate.
But you're walking up and you're going, oh my god, he was the nicest fella ever, and he was, he was getting treatment first, and he went, come and see me in a minute, and I'm like,
went to the Brazil game. I was
in
the media, as you well know, and I even though I wasn't doing it for anyone, the Redmen said, will you try and film any interviews with any like Liverpool players? So I said, yeah, alright, because I was just enjoying the experience. How often are you going to get media to go and watch Brazil? And Neymar came through the mix zone and he was doing interviews, and but the media, obviously the media were going mad, and he had like the security like all over him, and they were giving you big dirty looks if you got too close to the thing. But I mean, fair play, he did the interviews, but I did think to myself, he's a little bit too protected there, because he was he did. I mean, as I say, he did interviews, so it wasn't like he didn't do interviews, but I just thought he was a little, almost like too protected. But don't get me wrong, he's a world star, he's a world brand as well, he's an asset to big companies as well. But sometimes I just think we forget that these people are human. I think Wayne Rooney's a really good example, because I think when he was young and Moyes protected him, he didn't learn the basic social skills of talking to other human beings. You forget that these kids are in a bubble from when they're like 11 at football clubs, and they're told when to train, and they're told when to sleep, and they're told when to eat, and they're very regimented, And they're also told to be very cautious of people, because everyone wants something of you.
Yeah.
So they'd probably all think if someone tries to strike up a conversation, they're trying to either trip them up, or especially in this day and age with pictures and recording equipment and all kinds, they're trying to trip them up. So they don't want to. So when Rooney came through, Moyes was very guarded, wouldn't let him do anything, and I think that long term, that's because you listen to Rooney have an interview, everything from what he says to how he says it sounds fake to me, or trained. Even down to his accent, like he puts like an accent on, I think, to be clearer in what he's saying. You know, yeah, and it's all like, everything's like managed to, because he's obviously gone and had media training. But you just think that when he was younger, if he was just being allowed to have conversations and just being allowed to do media, that he would have learned it naturally. Like I was saying, like Tom Davies, 19 years of age, and yet he can hold his own, because he obviously is an intelligent lad. But he can say I've had a conversation with him in public and fine, no problem. I had a conversation for 5 minutes. When he's done interviews, he's fine. He's just let them get on with it. Let them get on with it. If they're asked a tough question, let them answer the tough question.
I think the problem is they are overprotected, and when you overprotect someone to that level, they're naturally going to be more aloof as well, because you're telling those players that I'm going to protect you from him, and you don't speak to him. So they look at, say to you for argument's sake, I'm looking at you then thinking, I'm talking to you because I'm not, you might do that, and then that the air of suspicion comes in then, and then that creates a divide.
Well, let me flip it as well though. The media have got a massive part to play in this.
Oh, yeah.
Right, they've got a massive part to play. Because what Southgate would have done is said to the press, I'm opening the doors for you. Right? If I see any more stories like the one about the fucking tattoo, you're not coming back. This is a privilege. We've had this with Everton, where they've give us their trust. And I'd like to think we've repaid it by not, doing anything silly, right? So that should be so the media have got a big part to play. The media have got to be accountable now, because they'll be like, they would have gone, well, we don't get any access, we've had to write that story, or we've had to speak to this person. He's just said, here's the access, here's the rope, right? Let's see if you want to hang yourself. And that's it now. So that relationship is it now, because that's the way it used to be. Like I was watching some documentaries last week about Italian 90, and I think like Butcher and that was saying, this is how it used to, when they went somewhere, the press were on the plane.
Yeah, they were with them.
So you go, if someone had wrote something about you, you go over and go, what did you write that for? And he'd have to look you in the eye. So that would have probably happened yesterday. Sterling would have gone, why did someone from your paper write that story? Or he had the opportunity to if he wanted to. He probably didn't. But that fella who knew that his shithouse mate wrote a story, he would have had to walk over and gone, oh, you think about this or that? And he might have gone, yeah, he might have given just a few bland answers, but someone else he might have opened up to. It's no coincidence, like, that all the best journalists in the country, the ones who break things, don't write shit out stories.
Yeah.
Because they're trusted by clubs, they're trusted by players, because they don't write the stories. So I would like to see this happen more and more, and we create that trust again. And you know what? If you create that trust, then when there are those stories, it'll be a lot easier to pin down where that come from.
Yeah.
And then you'll go, you're not welcome here anymore. You're not welcome here. We've opened the doors to you, and you've thrown it back in our face. You're not welcome anymore. Simple as that.
No, I think you're right. It's a very, very good idea. Just quick, sticking with the World Cup, be surprised to see Sane excluded from the final Germany.
I thought that was honestly, I thought that was a done deal. I thought it didn't really. didn't really have any. I thought he was a top player. He was like part of their team, but clearly not. Surprised? Do you know what? I know Germany have got abundance of players, and like France have got abundance, but the only one I would relate it back to was in '98 when Gaza didn't go to the World Cup. Because that and Donovan in the last World Cup when he never went for America, but because you think of the season he's had been incredible.
No, it is mad.
But he hasn't played well for Germany, so that's really good from their point of view. That their manager's like, well,
he said that, didn't he? Yogi Love.
Yeah.
Said he had,
Yogi.
Yeah, Yogi. He said there's a few players you've missed out to, good, very good players, but we've got, we had 30.
But that's what he said, I think, as well. He said, well,
and it's people who've performed.
He's done it all season for us, but he hasn't done it for me. So
that's the way it is.
Something's not right.
Donovan tweeted him, didn't he, and said, "Do you want to go and have a couple?
I'm blocked by Donovan.
Do you want to go and have a couple of beers?" when it'd been announced that he'd missed out. Like, Tim Cahill about to go to his 4th World Cup. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, he'll retire only after it.
Oh yeah.
He'll retire. This is what he's been like, basically club hopping for like 3 years. Basically, hasn't he been to like China and back to Australia, and he had the little spell at Millwall, and but no, it's brilliant, and it you can tell with Cahill, he's such a motivated person and he's always trying to create his brand all the time. Every time like FIFA he'll put his goal on, he's always like retweeting it and stuff. He's like trying to keep himself relevant, so it is really important from that point of view. He understands that his shelf life is is been now and has to jump all over that, because otherwise he'll just become sort of, in his eyes, probably think it'd be forgotten, or the way not to be forgotten is by pushing his legacy, which, and for 4 World Cups, and if he scores, he'll have scored in all 4 World Cups. I mean, he'll be a lot harder this time because of his age and stuff, and but he's still capable of coming off the bench and grabbing a goal.
Yeah, last 15-20 minutes he's
you throw that ball in the box, he's still a threat. Use him right, he's only really going to have the 3. I don't see Australia getting out the group, so he's only going to have the 3 games really, but let's hope he does.
Put it past him, sure.
No, not at all.
Just getting on.
Let's hope he gets a goal, retires, and then comes back and works for Everton.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the hope.
Definitely.
But
that's what we need to do. Yeah, so interesting. What else have we got here? Surprised anyone else has missed out? I looked at the France. I think I said this last week, but a couple of weeks ago. But I looked at that France omission list. And the players are just incredible, aren't they?
Spain have had a few.
Spain have had a few, and you look and go, my God, they got an abundance of talent that hasn't gone. And when you look at the top players who aren't there, your Funes, Morris of the world, Nias, the World Cup's gonna be a poorer place.
Nias's beautiful smile.
Yeah, I mean, I am very surprised he hasn't gone. I've got to say that, because he's had a good season, relatively a good. He's got 8 and 10 starts for Everton and Chiefs. Garbage.
And he's one of those players that you could have brought off the bench as well.
He's a nuisance, isn't he? Because he just runs around, but maybe
he didn't get in the squad till late on, does he? So he again, though, he didn't impress them while he was.
That's it.
But I think he did score in one of the games. I'm sure he scored in one of the games, but no, it shows the talent that other countries have got, and they don't feel the pressure to take people just because they've got bigger names. Interesting.
Just finally before we go, Yaya Toure, he's left Man City, and there's been a bit of a fallout there. He's accused Pep of not liking African players, so that's caused him. But whatever. But his agents come out and said he'll play for one of the top 6 for £1 a week, providing there's a big bonus when he plays, I presume.
Well, that's fair enough, isn't it?
Do you think he could still do a job for teams in the top 6? And who would you see him? Who could you see him fitting into? Because he's 35. He's obviously a very good footballer. He's been a brilliant footballer, and he's been brilliant for City, but I think there's probably only Arsenal, really. But now with Emery. Although they've just got Liechtenstein at 34, which is a bit of a mad one.
I don't know. He screams West Ham.
He does scream West Ham to me as well.
And obviously there's links there, isn't there, with the manager?
Mm-hmm.
No, it'll be interesting. He might go for a quiet payday somewhere in the sun.
Can't see him going to a top 6. He couldn't play for Liverpool, could he?
I could see United taking him just to wind him up.
Just to wind it up. Interesting. Gonna be interesting.
But I like that though, that he said I'll play for the bonuses essentially.
Mm. Yeah.
That's what they should.
Would you be happy with Everton getting him?
No. No. I don't know if I'd be happy. I'd probably embrace it, but I don't know whether. I don't think it's the right move.
No. We need young, hungry players, not fit, fast players. But there you go. Finally, looking forward to the World Cup.
Yeah, and we're gonna have previews for every group. That's how much we're not having like one preview. We're having a preview for every single group.
I was like linking into that, and then you didn't really sell it very well.
I know, but then it went.
Yeah,
built it up. Preview for. I mean, we haven't done them yet. I mean, but we've done one.
We've done one. We'll do the rest.
That was 20 minutes. We're talking about Egypt.
I know that needs to be cut down. It's far too long. So we'll look out for that. We'll be doing World Cup previews, and we'll be doing World Cup shows throughout the summer as well as the.
Only when the World Cup's on, not after the World Cup.
No, not after. It'll be done.
Which should be pointless.
We'll be back to Everton. Well, unless we do a review show, review every group, every game, just everything.
Afterwards.
We're not doing that, honestly, but we're doing World Cup stuff, so make sure you check that out as well as all of our other stuff. And but just so much stuff to check out. Tell your mates, get your mates on Patreon, do it, tell them to do it, build it up, ramp it up. Let's do it. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comment section below anything we've discussed that you take umbrage with or agree with. See you later on Toffee TV.